getting cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired for my last job. Hot-wired a city truck and turned it over in the mayor's yard. Beat my brother-in-law half to death. Lost $20 on his football bet. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Good old boys, we're all the same.
Hey, good morning, America, the world, and especially Victoria, Texas. Welcome to the Wade and Carter program. I am your host today, flying solo in over my head, ecstatic to be here facing the challenge. Ash is out of town. Very excited to try to do this by myself. It doesn't seem like much. It's easy to come in here and be the smart aleck, sidekick. I don't provide much content. I just show up and kind of say what you're thinking about the day's events. Ash brings the content. Ash brings the consistent level of perusement of the day's events so that you understand what's really going on in the world, and I kind of tell you what to think about it. And we're good at it. Humbly, we're good at it. He and I come from vastly different perspectives. He's Canadian. He's a legal immigrant. He's an American citizen. I was privileged to be a fifth generation Texan, born here, American to the core, no loyalty to any other sovereignty. And if he and I agree on something politically based, straight up, we're right. When we disagree, there may be a gray area, there may be something to look at. But when he's not here, I'm a loose cannon, and I'm aware of that. I'm guarding that today. I've picked some fairly benign things to talk about that are very interesting. We have a full slate of things. I think we may be joined by a guest later on. The Wade and Carter weather brought to you by our great friends at AT Deerland Feed. For everything you need, there's Deerland Feed. I reached out to Matt Boucher the other day. I'm going to get a product called Crew, like Crew Cut, a road crew. Crew is a pre-emergent. If you're tired of the sticker burrs, the grass burrs that always pop up in the spring, they seem to outgrow, they seem to come in quicker and more hardy than your St. Augustine or Bermuda. You can put Crew on, my research shows, probably mid-February, and you can make the grass burrs not appear. Deerland Feed will have Crew or a comparable molecule, a similar drug, if you will, for your yard, available soon. It's probably available now. Brian Small says, this is my heaven, no interruptions. Unfiltered, unmanaged Carter. I was born a poor black child, Tupelo, Mississippi. Let's just start at the beginning. The Wade and Carter weather, 31 degrees under clear skies, heading to a high today of 57. Really should be a beautiful day. As early as 9 o'clock this morning, you're going to pass 40. It's a good day. Let's jump right into it and see what's going on. I made a bunch of notes today because I'll be honest. Most mornings I'm up by 6. I leave the house before 6:30. At that moment, I'm on the phone with Ash. We're talking about what's happened overnight. We're talking about what we both saw on the internet late. We're talking about things that he has already identified he wants to talk about that morning. While the show is in no way scripted, it's also not just intentionally spitballed. There is a plan to the program every day. Without Ash, I was up this morning before 5. I felt like I needed to get up, commit some time. I've watched a little Fox. I'll give you a quick snippet of that. I saw a general was on there, a gentleman named Keane, Keane, 4-star general. He was pointing out that the United States has committed $186 billion to the now 3-year-old war in Ukraine. His comment was, and I hadn't thought of it this way, he goes, most of that money did not go to Ukraine. It went to the military industrial complex, military contractors to rebuild, replenish, and replace munitions and supplies taken from our own stores and sent, our own storage, if you will, and sent to Ukraine. So we send Ukraine a bunch of runway buster missiles. And at the time, it would have been Cameron Iron Works gets a contract to build more missiles paid for by the United States government, not Ukraine, paid for by the American taxpayer. Now, this general was suggesting that as we move forward, we start to use some of the captured funds, in some cases, frozen assets of Russia, $200 billion that we have frozen. This general pointed out that there has not been a war in Western Europe since World War II ended. You might want to make a note of who ended that war. The United States and her allies. 70 years, I guess, this year. No, sorry, 80 years this year. 80 years this year of, if not peace, at least not all-out war in Western Europe. That's notable. I mean, that is notable. Let's see who all's in the house today. Great group. Appreciate y'all being here. Mark Kurtz, dear friend, first one in. Scott Tomko, second. Wendy Hughes Garcia. Sarah Elkins comes in fourth. And then everybody else gets a participation ribbon. Jordan Glass, Bobby Leister, Marvin Mickish Jr., Lisa Poole, Kendra Douglas, Amanda King, Judge Posey, good morning, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Justin Glass, Tammy Keeling, good morning. Had a good follow-up with Tammy Keeling yesterday about our visit with Superintendent Sheila Koyatsa. Get it right. Koyatsa. Nice lady, intelligent lady, lots and lots on her plate. I find it interesting as we move into a new era of school superintendency and new leadership. Will she overcome the sins of the past, the perceived sins of the past? You've got a new school board, essentially, and you're about to have more members roll off. You've got a new superintendent. Does Victoria rally where the school district needs them? You are needed. Make no mistake, and I think we all agree, VISD needs more money. Have they been punished enough? Have they learned a lesson? Who is they anymore? Be prayerful about how you approach our public schools and the best way to make certain we get bang for our buck. Stephanie Conti, Heather Kraft Stewart, good morning, ma'am. Junior Samples, hello, sir. Greg Garcia. Greg Jr. always tells me, if you need me on the air, all you have to do is call me. I said, I know. Sherry Merrick Jacobs, welcome, class of 81. Randy Langston. I saw Gene Vesley yesterday. I was at the Chopping Block. Welcome the Chopping Block back as a sponsor. We're going into grilling season, prime grilling season. Spring, summer. We walked in yesterday, bought their ultimate bacon cheeseburger patty. It's got cheese and bacon in it, hence the name Bacon Cheeseburger. but also they've got pre-seasoned wings. We got some chorizo for the weekend. We got some breakfast sausage. They've got it all. And John Turner, he and I have talked about promoting the meat market side and their cook trailer that's out front every day with wonderful plate lunches every day, a different menu every day. And he has committed to giving us more data to give you. Once you know these folks, you'll want to support them. There's Mark Cepeda, Cody Bauman checking in. That's Brand Us. To Cody, Cody's our producer extraordinaire. It's mostly a volunteer gig, but he wants you to know also, whether you need website updates, keyword rankings on Google, social media posting, drone, you need a licensed drone pilot to come out and maybe do a real estate deal, Cody is your guy. And you can always reach him through us, or you can go to the Brand Us Facebook page or brandus.org. Imagine that. Ricky Champagne King, Be Small is always in. There's nothing like a guy that's super smart, super glib and flippant, acerbic and biting, but also just funny as can be, man. Be Small is the guy on here that just breaks my heart. Because I always have that fear that I'm going to get giggly. Although many of you bore me to the, I'm playing. I'm always afraid I'm going to get giggly, and that's going to be the downfall, is I won't have the composure to go on through the show. Be Small is my Achilles heel. I'm always worried that he's going to get me. There's Linda Christ. Good morning, man. Ryan Hopping, Torrin Bales, Stuart Martin, Micah Patton, Scott Snow, our buddy Peter McNally. Peter McNally was out there shoveling snow the other day. Got to be 80. Still working out. Peter McNally, good man. He says Chiefs or Bills. I just don't see how anybody with any snap can can choose anybody but the Chiefs at money time. If you had to bet your life on it, do I think the Bills may be top to bottom a better team? I'm not sure. I know that Josh Allen is due, but I know Jim Kelly was due as well, and he lost 4 Super Bowls. Fran Tarkenton lost one. The Bills have never won one. I mean, if I had to bet, Chiefs. For the same reason as Greg Garcia asked, Bills or Commanders, Bills and Commanders, I don't see Washington winning the next round. Man, David Glass, Andrew Alvarez. Andrew Alvarez gave a really nice introductory speech, if you will, comments at the GOP gala, throwing his hat in the ring to run against John Cornyn. Do I think Andrew Alvarez can beat John Cornyn? I think we can beat John Cornyn. I think Andrew Alvarez could be the tool. I don't know. I just don't. I don't remember the last time John Cornyn made me feel like a Republican. Crystal Map, good morning, friend. Carrie Bump, great supporter of the program. Ricky King says, shipping Ukraine some of our old ammunition isn't always a bad thing and having it renewed. I agree. It's better than sending them $186 billion. At least we're getting new bullets. Says we found out in Desert Storm that some ammunitions don't store well and do not work after years of storage. Amen. That's also what I think about Russia's nuclear arsenal. I think that as much as 50% of their silos could be full of paper mache missiles. Interesting to note, Ukraine, like why Ukraine? Ukraine does have arguably the world's largest stores of uranium ore. Amanda Bloschke, good morning, Brooke. Hope Amanda Bloschke's doing great. Tammy McElroy Williams, not vetted as not a serial killer. Good morning, ma'am. Jim Hinojosa. Yep. Junior says his phone doesn't ring. There's Lisa Poole. HR Mallory. HR says, Junior, it sounds like they have learned. HR's doing great down in the Corpus area. Junior's like an easy target, low-hanging fruit because he's such a good guy. Junior has the biggest heart of anyone we know. As our Bob Constantine, our dear friend Bob, has struggled and not felt well, Junior's been literally on 24-hour call. He's an RN. Junior's like MacIver, without the looks. Like if you took MacIver and you squatted him down and made his hair a little wonky, you would find Junior. He's like MacIver. He can do it all. Andy Rogovich, he says it's going to be a repeat of 92. Go Redskins. Doug Williams coming down that tunnel. Saw a video yesterday on Jaden Daniels, the young man from LSU who plays quarterback for the Redskins. Says that he's using a VR, virtual reality headset, to train for NFL games. Oh, Junior corrected me. He's in LVN. I apologize, sir. B. Small says only 45 more minutes. I've already given you tidbits. I've already given you great data. Great stuff. Jaden Daniels trains with, and Mark Kurtz says that Junior Samples is the MacIver gnome. That's very well put. He puts this virtual reality headset on, and Cliff Kingsbury, who's his offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, gives him all the plays that he intends to run that week against the upcoming opponent. Jaden Daniels then gets up in the mornings and runs 100 plays every day against the virtual reality of the opposing team's defense. And what he does is he runs the drills at double speed so that when he plays in the real game, everything looks slow. It's genius. It really is genius. You've done things where it's like putting a kid in a batting cage, a little league player. They're used to seeing pitches at 55, 60 miles an hour. You just kind of turn the machine up to about 70. If you can get them squaring that up, it's throwing nothing but strikes, no chance to get hit, no reason to be afraid. If they can start making contact with that pitch, the 55-mile-an-hour pitch looks like a changeup, and they just kill it. I want to make a note from a wardrobe perspective. We don't have a wardrobe department here. I am wearing a classic Fetterman. This is just a very inexpensive BCG brand. You can get one. You, too, can have this classic Fetterman. I got this at Academy. And then, of course, a vintage 22 World Series cap. So there you have it. My bad. Thank you, Greg Garcia. Doug Williams was the Redskins' 80s quarterback. Mark Rippon won the 92 Super Bowl for Washington. The fact that you people know that very, very much upsets me. Let's see what I've got for you. Your man Trump says they're covering Trump's slow tariff rollout, as well as immigration, abortion pills, podcasts. Can you believe Congress yesterday had to approve a bill that requires medical care for victims of a failed abortion? So if late enough in a pregnancy, a doctor goes in to abort a baby and somehow the baby comes out alive, well, you've got to take care of it. Where are we as a civilization that that's even an issue? Can you imagine a physician going, well, my intention was to kill it. It's just a clump of cells. My intention was to remove the clump of cells from the birthing person. So I'm just going to go ahead and squash it here on the table because that was my intention. I can't help that it's breathing. Where are we as a society? Honestly, what must God think of the United States? On some hands, we're the last choice, the last chance for the world. The things Donald Trump is doing right now, while I believe some may be orchestrated from other hands, you need to understand the Trump administration is playing chess while the world is playing checkers. Everything he's doing is reversing the trend towards a one world government, reversing the race towards socialism, reversing the dismissal of our sovereignty. He pulled us out of the Paris Clean Air Act. Why? Not because we want dirty air, because it was punitive to the U.S. and still allowed others, India and China most notably, to pollute at will. Carbon credits. Let's see, I'll trade you my carbon credits for a concession on your labor. I had a great idea the other day. I don't think I'm the first, and it may be called something different. But I had an idea the other day that maybe the United States should start offering abatements, tax abatements, to companies that are U.S.-based that manufacture in foreign lands. Wouldn't it be something if people came back to the U.S., even if we said, oh, by the way, they're not going to pay taxes for the first 10 years that their manufacturing's here, provided that they stay 20 or whatever. I mean, it's over multiple terms of presidencies. But much like Victoria granted abatements to Caterpillar to come here, would it be terrible to grant certain abatements, if not total abatements, certain benefits monetarily to manufacturers to come back to the U.S.? The idea with the tariff has always been about leverage. It's all about leverage. One of the things, like, say, when I say it's checkers versus chess, one of the main reasons I think that Donald Trump is changing the name of Mount McKinley back to Mount McKinley, not only was McKinley originally viewed as kind of a mediocre president, he was a businessman. He understood and was one of the few to really employ, one of the earliest to really employ tariffs as a leverage tool against other countries and to the benefit of the U.S. It's worth noting that Mount McKinley, which may be called Denali by the locals, that's fine. McKinley is still in Denali National Forest. It's not like it's being disrespectful to the natives. Very interesting. So it says Donald's second presidency is obviously off to a fast start. It says in every area is a priority for him. Immigration, climate, race, gender. He's been making major policy changes, but there is one exception, tariffs. Even though Donald Trump has said that tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary, he's been cautious in his first week back in office. He's not imposed the universal 10% or 20% charge on all imports that he promised in the campaign. He has instead threatened to enact targeted tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China that wouldn't take effect until February 1st. Trump's aides have signaled that the threat is partly a negotiating tool to win other concessions from those countries. No doubt about it. Wall Street, which tends to oppose tariffs, has noticed the caution. The S&P 500 rose again yesterday. Market analysts said the slow movement was one reason. The worst fears have not been realized. David Kelly, Chief Globus for JP Morgan Asset Management. You got to know that he understands. Right? There was a quote down here that I'll paraphrase. Basically, it says that Donald Trump looks at the stock market as his scorecard. He may have certain things he wants. He may want Denmark, for example, to put more money into NATO. So he may talk about just taking over Greenland until they do so. It says there's about three main goals that Trump has with the tariffs. Number one, he wants to bring production home, remedying unfair trade practices. He wants to control the supply chain, if you will. Makes sense. The U.S. can use tariffs to encourage more production in this country, especially in industries that are growing or militarily sensitive. He can do so by increasing the cost of foreign goods. He wants to raise revenue. A more generalized tariff is a revenue raiser. We've had mixed reviews on that about who pays the tariff. Is it the foreign country? Is it the American consumer? And I would say to you that provided that the tariff, which I can view as a tax, provided it's a short-term instrument, pay it. Pay it. And he also wants to do it to gain leverage. Tariffs can be used for negotiations. Ukraine, Canada, Mexico, these are all things that matter. So fast forward on that. That all came from Tammy, The New York Times, The Morning. A judge, tell you what, let's take a quick break. I get sidetracked. I'm a little silly, get sidetracked. Folks, Went Services, Went for all your electrical needs. Let Went come in and help you this season with a new plug, repair plugs, change ballasts in light. If you're going to build a building, if you're going to call RK Development Group, tell Daniel Rollins, I've got a relationship with Went, and I want a turnkey generator on the side of my new barn dominium. I want to be self-contained out in the country. That's what I want. RK Development Group can help you with all your building needs, all the way from a barn to a bricks and sticks building. They specialize in metal buildings and encourage you to reach out. USA Concrete Coating, put down a tough as nails polyurethane coat in that garage. You can put down the pattern you want, your family crest, anything you want, they can do. Veracruz Restaurant today. It's Chicken Fried Friday, even though you can get chicken fried steak anytime. You can't get it tomorrow or Sunday. So get into Veracruz today and enjoy the best Mexican food in town, period. Allen's Wrecker Service. Let Allen help you get from here to there. Allen is your go-to to 578-6300. And, of course, Paravita Wellness. Today, get over there, beat Lisa Poole for the half-off meals in the cold case. They're still good out of the fridge into next week, and you can freeze them and pull them out when you need a meal. The food is fantastic. No preservatives. That's why you got to freeze them. Some stuff you can go and buy it at the store, keep it in your fridge for months. It's got so much junk in it. That's why you're fat. Get by Paravita and get healthy. So Donald Trump recently saying that he wanted to kind of revoke birthright citizenship. You may recall that, pick a scenario, doesn't matter. Cuban, Russian, illegal, sneaks in, defies the border, drops a kid on the side of the Rio Grande, on this side. That kid's an American citizen. There you have it. That's in the Constitution. However, let's look at the 14th Amendment. It's very short. Doesn't take much. I don't know if I have a copy of it here. but it states all persons born or naturalized, like Ash is naturalized, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Now, interesting. Donald Trump never wanted to shy away from, semantics. Seems to believe that subject to the jurisdiction thereof is a phrase he can manipulate to get rid of some of these people. I think that I don't have a problem with birthright citizenship. If you're born here, you're an American, but you may not live here. Now, follow me on that. Your parents are spies. They're illegal aliens. They're people that we need to get rid of. I'm not saying they're from Guatemala. Don't belabor the politics of deportation. The parents need to go. We're just going to leave the 1-year-old here? That's fine. Put it up for adoption. It's still an American. There are lots of Americans that don't live in the United States. I say you take that child, wrap it in swaddling clothes, and give it to its parents and put them on a jet. Got no problem with that. That doesn't offend me. I don't have an obligation to take care of every American citizen. When the kid's older, stamp his passport and send him back. I don't see the problem. However, when Trump issued an executive order aimed at ending birthright citizenship, a federal judge called it blatantly unconstitutional. He went on to say, this judge, by the way, Judge John Conour, Coughenour, is a Ronald Reagan appointee. Now, he lives in Seattle. He's had 4 generations to have them warp his mind. I've been on the bench for over 4 decades. I can't remember another case where the question presented was as clear. Where were the lawyers when the decision to sign the executive order was made? He said that it boggled his mind that a member of the bar would claim the order was constitutional. I can go with that. What Donald Trump is trying to do to say against the Constitution of the United States that if you're born here, you're not necessarily a citizen is problematic for me. I will tell you that in the big picture, it is the least of our worries. If he wants to deport illegal immigrants, which, by the way, the Associated Press has even agreed to quit calling people undocumented immigrants. They are illegal immigrants. Semantics matter. Words matter. You know, when you have people talking about, I don't know, you have abortion people talking about that it's just a clump of cells, whereas most of us say, it's an unborn child. You have the left calling the mother the birthing unit. They depersonalize everything. If you can take people out of it, if you can take a little baby with a little shock of hair out of the abortion clinic, everything's fine. You're good with that. It's a clump of cells. Very interesting. Ahead of the March of Life, the annual March for Life, President Trump has pardoned 23 pro-life demonstrators. You may recall, I didn't, but you may recall, these protesters were convicted for blocking entrances of certain abortion clinics. You may not know this, but there is a Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, the FACE Act. 23 people were prosecuted. This Trump. 23 people were prosecuted. They should not have been prosecuted. Many of them are elderly people. They have not have been prosecuted. This is a great honor to sign this. So the president signed a pardon for those 23 people on January 23rd. They were pro-life demonstrators. The hypocrisy of the left knows no bounds. The left has no problem blocking a street in the name of hugging a tree. The left has no problem doing all verbally assaulting people at polling places. All of these things. But if God forbid a group of grandmothers get together and decide that they're going to block, we won't take it. We're going to block the entrance to an abortion clinic. Well, then you're just, you've got to be prosecuted. Are you kidding me? It's got to happen. President Trump also, this week, has ordered a plan for a full release of the JFK assassination records. Now, this is what's interesting. They say that 99% of the records have been released already. And give Joe Biden credit for some of that. He now says he wants a full and complete release. The deadline is 45 days. And he's also including the assassinations of Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King. Trump says that's a big one. A lot of people have been waiting for this for years, for decades, and everything will be revealed. Thought that was interesting. He talks about an era of mistrust in the federal government, and many Americans still believe that Oswald was part of a larger plot to kill the president. Trump and former President Joe Biden previously released thousands of documents related to JFK's killing. Biden had agreed to delay the disclosure of additional records because of listen to this, the necessity of protecting against identifiable harms to the military defense, intelligence operations, law enforcement, and the conduct of foreign relations that are of such gravity that they outweigh the public interest in disclosure. So he's saying that in the last 1% of those documents, which could be reams and reams and reams of paper, but in that 1%, Joe Biden, and I don't fault him for this, I'm not. I think we do have a right to know. But I don't slam President Biden for saying there are identifiable harms in those documents to our military, to the CIA, to the police, and to foreign entities that he claims that the problems that are going to come from everybody knowing that outweigh your right to know. That's scary. It's also titillating. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what it is. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said, trust in government is at an all-time low. Releasing the full, unredacted historical records will help to restore that trust. I don't know if that's true, but it'll give him some closure. He'll know what's going on in his family. A wildfire that broke out Wednesday morning in a rugged mountainous area north of Los Angeles has exploded to more than 10,000 acres. You're looking at the Hughes fire. And it has been, and look, you just walk, the man in the big head is buying, you just come right on through, sir. You're looking at the Hughes fire, which is a big, big deal. I'm going to have to, let's see, I'm going to go move that in just a second. You're doing great. I'm going to turn your mic up too. We've been joined in studio by State Representative from House District 30, A.J. Louderback. I still call you Sheriff and friend.
Good morning.
Welcome in. Give me 1 second, folks. I've got to adjust a camera. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Good.
We had, I don't know if you got to listen yesterday, but we had a smaller lady in studio, the new VISD superintendent, and she was delightful. Shared a lot of information.
Looking forward to meeting her. I'm hearing
Yes.
some things from the teachers that are very positive.
Yes, sir. No, she seemed like a really, really intuitive, kid-centric, discipline. I took the liberty of telling her, if you need to talk school safety, if you need to talk appropriate discipline, please reach out to our state rep, Sheriff Louderback. He's very, very pro-education, but he's pro-educational environment that favors learning and the teachers.
Yes, I'm focused on a better education standard. I think that Texas is far too low. We need several things in the pub ed deal, which we hope to solve this session and maybe get us on the right track. We kind of got off track last session and didn't get some things passed and didn't get the teacher pay raise we needed. And as I understand now, we still haven't got a bill to look at, but word is leaking out about the bill, and several different news sources have some money figures in there. So it looks like $1 billion in the Senate and $1 billion in the House have been set aside for the savings accounts.
Right.
So that remains to be seen, but proper school funding, I'm looking for a better discipline standard in the state. I'm looking for better pay raises, got to stop the hemorrhaging of loss of teachers.
Yes, sir.
Keep certified teachers in place, and it's kind of give the classroom back to the teacher. I'm looking for less Chromebook FaceTime. I'm looking for a little pencil time with a piece of paper. I'd love to see cursive writing come back. I'd like to see us maybe move in a direction where we're actually educating our kids with some accountability.
Right. And I like that. I like the, we talk about here, sit down, shut up and learn something. And I like, I think it's interesting, or I think it's challenging. Let's put it that way. Like, you can look right here. I've got more technology sitting on this desk than we had in '69 when the Apollo astronauts landed on the moon. Our kids are not ever going to go backwards and stop using computers.
No.
Teaching them to type. Most of them don't even have to learn how to type anymore. They know how to type because they've been typing since they were babies. Yes. I do think that the engagement I don't think we know yet the long term on people's vision, on how they're, how they're going to react to all kinds of things from being exposed to the computer all the time. I do think, going back to the standard, in the same breath that I am confident that the state of Texas is lower, much lower than it should be in our academic prowess, I do think it's worth noting that we don't all take the same tests. If I give the kids in the state of Texas a high school level physics test and say, how you do on this determines where we rank in the state, and I'm in New Mexico and I give them a third grade math test, and then we compare the scores, obviously Texas is going to be lacking. Now, do I think we're lacking? For sure. But are we really 46th? I don't know.
Well,
because they're all taking different tests.
We're too low.
Yes, sir. I agree with that.
That's the shameful part about it.
Yes, sir.
And I'm a big fan of trade schools. I'm a big fan of developing a young man or woman that can leave school and be productive and lead a productive life and produce for society. I think that's not too much to ask for, Brent.
I agree. Well, and look at it like this. If you strive for perfection, even if you fall short, you're going to be better than you were. That's the goal. So I know, and without much preface, we're visiting with Sheriff A.J. Louderback, who is House District 30 state rep. I know you're not I just know you well enough to know that when you were sworn in last week or week before, it's all been a blur. I know that. There was no victory there. It was a call to go to work. And I know you well enough to know that that's what you've done. But for a moment, for those of us that won't ever have that opportunity, take a small victory lap and just tell us what it was like to be on the House floor and to be sworn in such a formal ceremony, just the emotions that you went through and what it meant to you to be trusted that much by this large a group of people.
Well, it's a matter of honor. I'm honored to be elected and to represent the people here, the constituents of HD 30 and the state of Texas. I fully understand that my decisions are far-reaching, and it was just a very honorable situation, very humble situation. Happy to be there, proud to be there, ready to get to work. Been ready for quite some time. Let's get Texas in better shape. We've got some real issues that we're going to tackle this session, and try to develop good policy and put some good laws in place that will promote Texas.
Right.
And keep Texas so much. Work with President Trump to increase all types of communication in so many areas. I mean, we have an opportunity here for the next 2 years. We're going to represent to a level that's it's going to be high. Service the people. Be accessible to the people, and that's what stood there with my right hand raised, really represented. It was a firm commitment to the constituents here in HD 30 and to the state of Texas.
Well, you've definitely knocked the dust off of old Trigger, because I've seen you. I mean, folks, it's nothing. I'll be like, hey, Sheriff, can you come in this morning? Can't do it. I'm talking about like 6:15 in the morning. Sheriff, can you come? No, I'm already on my way to Hallettsville. I got a breakfast with a group of guys this morning. And I'm like, man, that's ambitious. But I know you spend time in Matagorda County. You got folks that live right here don't know where Matagorda County is. And yet you've got
Bay City, Man, Black,
you've got folks over there. Bay City's an important place, booming and growing.
Oh, it is. It is.
No doubt about it.
It is. It's,
what do the next couple of weeks look like in terms of, like, I'm lost as to where we're at with the session? What are we doing?
Well, we're at the point now. We vote on the rules of the House, the operating procedures of the House. Got that done yesterday, so it's moving forward at this point in time. It's a situation that the next major step will be committee assignments. Things like that. Once committee assignments are done, then your work schedule changes, your House floor changes, the time on the House floor changes a little bit. It gets a little bit more flexible, but that's really the next step. I've got a bill filing today or Monday. On a major bill for the border situation that may enhance Texas quite a bit. But once the bills are filed and the committees start assembling and meeting, and bill structure starts going through the committee system, bills voted out of the committee, then of course are voted onto the calendar. They're supposed to come off, go onto the House floor.
That's where that parliamentarian comes in handy, doesn't he?
For debate.
That guy's got a lot of power.
Well, yes, it's Miss Carter, Sharon Carter.
Oh, she's got to be good.
Is a House parliamentarian.
She's got to be good. I'll call her. It's probably my cuz.
So yeah, so that's who I suspect is our House parliamentarian.
Is when you think about the natural progression of things, I mean, you obviously have a relationship with the governor. The governor obviously has a tangent, very close relationship with the president. I'm not making any assumptions about their friendship level, but they talk often. Don't you think we should be able to get some things done on our border with federal and state cooperation?
Well, I'm very positive about it. I'm very, very upbeat about the whole situation. I believe the president's plan. His borders are and I are good friends, and so I understand exactly phase one is going to be. We've got to remove criminal aliens, from our state. It's from all the states. So this is the focus right now on how we're going to systematically and methodically go about trying to put our state back in shape in that regard. And I believe it's very doable. I believe it is attainable. We got to get started.
There's I haven't heard a word about a man named Mayorkas since the election. Not one word.
I hope we never hear it again.
Right. Just makes you wonder. Yeah, I'm reading some of these things. Junior Sample says the East Jetty at Port O'Connor is Matagorda County. I found that out and paid the fine. I have no idea what that means. Junior probably drinking and driving. Kathleen Leiniger says, thank you, AJ, for voting no on the new rules that removes our representatives' rights, placing them in the hands of the speaker's sole power. That situation was scary.
Yeah. Thank you, Kathleen. Yeah, that's on the House rule. I'm not, when I signed up for this job, I have some principles and no Democratic chairs, is a hallmark. And it's one thing to cut deals and sleight of hand, to cut deals with the Democrats, because when the speaker was elected by a majority of Democrats, that he's beholden to them.
Yes, sir.
So,
So you reward them, right? You give them committees to run.
Well, yeah, and then you make your sub chairs, your sub chairs can be Democratic chairman. So we really didn't change much there. So it's really just kind of a sleight of hand on what was done.
But I visited with folks. I remember a guy that I didn't fundamentally agree with on much. A gentleman named Barack Obama once said, "Hey, elections have consequences," and it troubles me. As you know, I've been forced through the years to know a number of lobbyists, registered lobbyists that call on folks in Austin, and to a man and woman, they have said to me, "Well, Brent, you just have to understand that state politics is different than national politics, and this is how we get things done." And I thought, what a shame. Why can't we just decide if you've got 200 and something counties and 200 of them say, hey, we're voting Republican, then haven't the people spoken? I mean, according to our system, we should be doing things the way the Republicans want to do them. And if we screw that up, then we'll change back to being Democrats.
Well, I'm here to work and get things done. But when you govern from the left, that's a problem. So I think we've seen what governing from the left has done to this country. I've witnessed it, been a part of it now. So it's it's difficult for Texas to be a red state. In the Texas House to be House leadership to be governed from the left. So I have hope that one day that'll be fixed.
Right.
And work towards that.
Absolutely. Ricky King asks, and I'll make an editorial comment before I turn it over to the sheriff, says, could you propose a bill that makes it where Texas vets don't have to pay property taxes? It's a great concept, and it's something that initially I would be all for, but, man, it would affect our budget. There's a lot of vets in the state of Texas.
It would, and I think it's a great concept, and looking at several bills there for property tax relief and things like that. But, I don't know. We could certainly sit down and discuss it anytime we wanted to.
Right. Absolutely.
The feasibility of trying to get part of filing a bill package is some of it could be symbolic, some of it could be a message. But let's file some real quality bills that have a shot at moving the needle.
Absolutely. Linda Chris did come back and say Rob doesn't drink on the boat at all. It's just too dangerous. I knew that. I was just giving him a hard time. It's he's kind of my
conscious.
He's my punchline. He's my guy. So you obviously hit the ground running. You were busy. Sheriff Marr and I were proud to be representing you in the balcony.
Thank y'all very much.
We took in some popcorn, and I did stick my gum under one of those chairs. But no, I joked with our friend Stanley Southers, and I made the comment that I said, I'm in the balcony. Are you here? And he said, shoot, no, man, I'm across the street in our office. He goes, once you try to get out of that 1930s vintage theater chair, he goes, and call your chiropractor, you'll know why I'm not in the gallery, because they wouldn't let you stand. You had to sit, And so if your back started hurting, you either had to leave or just tough it out.
Yeah.
But there were lots of comments about the beauty of the pomp and circumstance that was very well done. It wasn't lost on me that the leftist judge from Houston did not know the pledge to the Texas flag. That when I go to commissioner's court here, they do the pledge every day, and
we start every session.
Just incredible.
Every House floor, when we're on the House floor, every pledge.
Tammy Keeling asked, and I'll paraphrase, but she says, "Where's your Victoria office? Have you established a Victoria office yet, or is it going to be mobile?"
I have a place, Victoria Communications right now, where we can by appointment only. I do have a district director now, which is Terry Murray.
Yeah, she's awesome.
So Terry is engaged, and we'll have some different publicity things for her on how to get in touch with her and how to make contact with her and communicate with her. So,
very, very professional. She had a long career in mortgage banking.
Yes.
She's used to dealing with the public. She's very poised and polished. I think she's
Absolutely,
a perfect complement to what you're doing. Very, very,
she's
encouraged by that.
Definitely a plus.
Absolutely. And it wouldn't be fair if I didn't throw out what a plus Marcy has been through all this, your wife, and the time that she worked tirelessly.
She's a champion.
She's a T-post driving mama now. You get her out there, she can put out a sign. She can pick up a sign.
Well, I'm more than fortunate
yes, sir.
in that regard.
Very blessed.
And, because, I think an aspect of political office, all the spouses need a round of applause for the role that they play. I don't care whether you're a county commissioner, you're a county judge, even city councilman, the stress and the different attacks that you can endure on family and friends is just absolutely phenomenal.
You take it as politics; it rolls off your back. It sticks to them and hurts them. I've seen it. I know what it's like.
And your children, they get upset about things, and they don't see things in the same perspective.
No,
and so it is a tough situation. So
I learned that years ago. I mean, a long time ago in some of a guy that was a friend of mine and is a better friend of mine today, but Emmett Alvarez just said some of the dumbest and most hateful things about me when I was running for mayor. And then he literally patted me on the back and goes, it's all just politics. Yeah. Let's go have breakfast. And he meant it. Like, just let that go. I mean, I called you a racist. So what? Let's go have breakfast. Okay. And we did. Because Emmett, I'm a much bigger person, and I just let it go.
Sure,
but it is funny.
Forgot though.
That's right. Yeah, and clearly I've forgotten it. It was 5 years ago. Clearly I've let it go. Yeah. But what do you expect to see out of President Trump in the very short days ahead?
The president, I believe, over the next 100 days, is going to affect policy in this country, which is profound. I anticipate decisions as, in my estimation, President Trump is ready to govern. He took office the other day, and what a speech, on inauguration, and it was something to listen to. It was something to do, and
you
kind of
could hear it, or you could hear it.
yeah.
When he talked about we're going to reclaim our sovereignty, we're not going to be socialist. We're not going to be subject to a minimum global tax.
Yes.
We are not. We are not part of the world economy. We are the world economy, and I applaud him for that.
And he's accurate. I mean, the world, no matter if you dislike President Trump, if you're a Democrat, we're better off. We're better off with a strong leader like President Trump. And
Absolutely.
So, in the overall scheme of things, he'll do some things that people don't like at times. But I do believe he is very serious. I do believe he's very committed to making America great again and bringing America back.
And there are people that insist on presenting him or perceiving him as not being totally sharp, not being totally with it. I am convinced when I listen to what he says, the man's playing checkers while the world's playing chess while the world's playing checkers.
Well, he's a brilliant strategist.
Yes, sir.
He has an uncanny sense of knowing when he's going to have to act, when he's going to go, where he applies himself to. It's a solid performance.
And he basically brags about the idea that I'm not going to attack you. I'm going to hit you in your wallet. And everybody knows, you remember back in the George H.W. Bush era, it's the economy, stupid. It's the economy. Yeah. Well, when he has the ability to manipulate world economies, that's a lot better than dropping a bomb.
Yeah, we'll see an era of prosperity. As we endured the last 4 years, the Biden administration, and the pain and suffering that brought, as we struggle through as a nation, as the states struggle through, with the inflation, as we just had to endure day by day, long days of poor decision, poor foreign policy. It affected everything.
Absolutely.
So as we see the world order realigning today, specifically in a fashion, as we see social media realigning itself, and so these are all positive things that are going to be good for America.
Absolutely. We've run over the top of the hour. We're still live on Facebook. I'm gonna wrap this one up today. Are you traveling today?
No, I'm traveling in the district today.
Good deal. Let me do this while I've got you here. That segment with House Rep AJ Louderback was brought to you in part by the folks at First State Bank of Louise. I owe you an Astros update next week. It's going to be about Ryan Presley potentially being traded to the Cubs. White Trash Services and White Trash Site Services, 550-1826. Chestnut Furniture, get by this weekend, see why Chestnut can love, make your house a home. Palace Bingo is where friends meet friends. Get in and enjoy them. Compadres Design. And we also talked about the offices here at 205. Beautiful suites. Come on down and see what John Paul Hull and his group have done. And we wish you nothing but the best. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you on Monday. Be safe, folks. Bye-bye.
I've been kicked out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife.